Welcome again to another edition of Inside Richmond Football with head coach Tony Lewis right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. The regular season is behind us, and now we think about sectional play coming up on Friday. We're going to talk about Connersville in just a few moments. We always turn the clock back to the previous game. Red Devils on the road at KOKOMO on Friday night, a game in which the Red Devils probably didn't seem like at times they got off the bus ready to play. Coach Lewis here to talk about not only that game, but again, our Connersville matchup on Friday. This is a hard one to approach simply from the standpoint, as I said, it just didn't look like, and it no excuses for sure. I know that. You talk about that. Got there a little bit late. The routine wasn't exactly the same, but it didn't seem like the team was quite ready to go. And when they got off the bus, did you kind of have an indication that maybe things could be long that night?
We did. You know, you mentioned we got there late. There was a lot of construction, and I'm not sure what happened, but we got there late. But that's, you have to adapt to whatever goes on. I didn't think our kids – as we told our kids, they're playing in the cold weather. Yeah. They're dealing with the elements just like us, and they don't seem to be having problems. We didn't have a real good bus ride up in terms of our conduct on the bus. I don't think we were focused. I think we were messing around too much on the bus. We got off the bus late, obviously, got warmed up, ready to go, but I just don't think mentally we were prepared to play. I don't know if some kids were thinking about Connersville. To be honest with you, I really don't know. We just didn't play well. Again, that comes back on me. We didn't have them ready to play. We didn't have a real good week of practice, to be honest with you. And as we told our kids after the game, when you don't have a good week of practice, you don't have good focus on your bus ride, you are worried about the elements. Yeah. Those three things, along with not being physical and playing a more physical team that just beat us up front on both sides of the ball. We didn't do a good job of the two most basic things you got to do, which is block and tackle. We were just talking about the Michigan Wolverines who blocked and tackled and played well. So we did not do those kind of things. So wasn't a good game for us on either side of the ball. Maybe one of the lone bright spots was Gage Peterball punted the ball pretty well. He dealt with the elements on dropping a couple of punt snaps, but overall punted the ball well and kicked the ball well. So that was the one bright spot I think we could take out of the game. Yeah.
What was interesting is that even from the center quarterback, and I don't know if it was a slippery football at times, but both quarterbacks had to deal with that, and I don't know if they just took their eye off the football or what the case may be. That was kind of a factor as well, just getting that offense rolling, but there were a lot of miscues like that.
There were. I can remember one bad snap that was legitimately a bad snap. Other than that, we've got to handle the football no matter. Again, they're dealing with the same elements as us. They're dealing with a wet ball. We're dealing with a wet ball. They handled it. We didn't. As we tell our quarterbacks and our centers all the time, we can't do anything without the football. Yeah. So the quarterback-center exchange, no matter whether in shotgun or under center, is the most important start to the football play. So we didn't do a good job of handling that. We couldn't get the running game going. Wyatt made some 2 to 3 decent runs, but that was mainly on his own. Number 90 and number 98 were studs up front for them defensive line-wise. We didn't handle their linebackers blitzing sometimes on some of our pass plays. And overall, defensively, we didn't do a good job of tackling number 12. As we told our kids after the game, we don't come up with this stuff out of thin air. We need to tackle number 12 low. You can't take him on high. There were times that, unfortunately, we were avoiding tackling him. Didn't hit him low. And we also talked about 21 going over the top, and as he did. So we just didn't do a good job of following through, didn't have a good week of practice. And as we told our kids, we need to take this game and flush it down the drain because there's nothing more than we can do about that.
So you really don't look at it much now, do you? Just
as a staff, we watch film. I have notes on what we didn't do well, and we'll talk about those things tomorrow with our kids. Normally we bring our kids in on Saturday, but as late as we were getting in last night, Friday night, and we had several of our kids go to the Indiana State homecoming game. Mr. Allen, who's a great guy who played here and played at Indiana State, had a lot of our kids over, so we were missing a lot of starters. And we usually give them one Saturday a year off. This happened to be the Saturday, and it worked out that I'm not sure it would have been a good film viewing session as it was.
Well, the regular season is behind us, and now we're going to think about the tournament. Before we talk about, we'll take a break here and talk about Connersville here in a couple of moments. You did make a change of quarterback. Was that just try to get things rolling because Zach was having a tough night?
It was. He was having a tough night. Mentally, I'm not sure he was into it as well as he could have been, and he was hurting. I think he banged his knee a little bit. He had an issue with the hand, and obviously we were having trouble with the catching the snap, so we put Alec in, and we had trouble with some snaps with Alec as well. So that was that. I don't think there's going to be any, in terms of our quarterback, I don't think there's going to be a change or anything like that. I just think both of them struggle a little bit, and again, we let the elements get to us. Yeah.
I'm not going to have you go through the entire regular season, but how would you categorize the regular season now that it's behind you?
The coaching staff got together today. We were watching film of our first game with Connersville, and you can see improvement from the first game until now. But there, in terms of categorizing what went on this year, we kind of shot ourselves in the foot on several occasions throughout the year with penalties, with blown assignments, not being disciplined. Those are things that obviously I've got to do a better job of conveying, getting that thing going in the right direction of those things. There was improvement. We have, and it didn't show this past week with KOKOMO, I think we've become a little bit better blocking team, a little bit better tackling team. But our numbers, because of our lack of numbers, it's hard to practice full-on tackling because of the lack of numbers. I think there were games that we were winnable that we didn't win. Obviously, going back to the Anderson game, we were in the McCutcheon game at one point. Those were, Anderson obviously being a tough loss. That's a game that we let get away from us probably. But I think the kids have battled all year. This past game against KOKOMO, I'm not sure that we battled the whole game, which is very disappointing as a coach. So hopefully we can have as we told them after the game, practice is important. Commitment level is important, and we need to have a better commitment level to what we're doing, a commitment level to the football program, a commitment level to getting better. So all those things hopefully will lead to us playing better on Friday night. But, it's been a learning experience for our kids. It's been a learning experience for all us as coaches, and we'll learn from it.
Well, the nice thing about the tournament is you get another chance, and the regular season doesn't matter as much now, does it?
That's right. So that's one game, and, your focus is better be on that game or you're going to be going home.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about the Spartans coming up next right here on Inside Richmond Football and Radio Troy Digital Sports.
I got this.
I got this.
I got this.
At Harrington Hogue, we believe your life belongs to you. That's why we work hard to make sure that your insurance coverage is the last thing you have to worry about. So when it comes to keeping you protected,
We got this.
The Indiana Football Hall of Fame in Richmond, Indiana was founded in 1973. Its mission is to honor the men and women who have excelled in high school, college, or professional football based on their coaching, athletic ability, citizenship, scholarship, and significant supporting contributions to the game of football. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame includes retrospection from Indiana's prestigious football history, from the late 1800s to the present. When you visit the hall, you'll see the names like Weebu Bank, Vegas Ferguson, Newt Rockne, and Lamar Lundy. The Indiana Football Hall of Fame is located at 815 North A Street in Richmond and is open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. There is no entrance fee and donations are appreciated. Take time to visit Indiana football history at the Indiana Football Hall of Fame. Well, it's another Friday night. The regular season, as we mentioned, is behind us. We have a rematch with the Connersville Spartans back in Connersville again for the second time. As you have alluded to a couple of times, these are two different football teams after game 1 and now to game number 10 on the season. Talk about the Spartans. What do you see in them right now?
Well, I think they're playing better as a whole. I think watching their film against Lawrenceburg, they had every opportunity to beat Lawrenceburg to get their first win. Gave up a tough couple touchdowns there at the end of the game to lose the game, but they're playing better. They're getting in some formations offensively, some unbalanced stuff that they didn't do early on in the year that I think they're trying to take advantage of their line in terms of that. They're playing better. It's at their place. As we told our kids, the first game means nothing. They will be ready to play us, I'm sure. And, we need to be ready to play. We weren't ready to play last week against KOKOMO, and if we come out that way against Connersville, we're going to be packing it in on Monday. And that's in coaches' minds, that's the worst day of the year is the Monday after your last game, turning in your equipment. So we don't want that to happen. As we told our kids, we want to spend as much time as we can with them. Hopefully they want to spend as much time as they can with each other. And let's make a run here and be playing our best football now.
Well, and it certainly is when you get that, if you can get that sectional win, doesn't take everything away from the regular season, but boy, it sure feels much better, doesn't it?
It does, and it doesn't matter who you get a win against. And again, we have to understand as a football program, as a community, that first game is over with, and it's a new season. It's a new game, new opponent. Obviously, same opponent, but they've gotten better, and we have to do a better job of practicing with purpose this week and with commitment, and knowing that it's a little bit different week for us. It's fall break. We've got to deal with that element of not having kids at school, making sure our kids get to practice, making sure our kids get home from practice, making sure our kids are getting sleep. Again, it's something that's important for our parents and our the guardians of our kids, that they're getting to bed on time, they're eating right, getting sleep, not staying up all night, and so that we can have a good week of practice.
I kind of chuckle a little bit because when you really think about it, when you as coaches have to deal with all of that, it isn't just the X's and O's, but you got it. All those other elements of being a head coach are tough sometimes.
You do, and today's teens. There's a lot more things they can do, especially video games. I can tell you every football coach in America is tired of the Fortnite craze, and it's cost a lot of our kids a lot of sleep, and probably cost us some focus in practice. So you do have to worry about those things, about our kids eating right, getting to bed on time, not staying up all night, and hopefully their focus, as we told them, they've got 4 or 5 games on Connersville on Huddle that they can watch and prepare. Let's hope they're doing that and not just playing video games all week.
Boy, that's changed too. They can go watch the film themselves, man.
Yes, it's amazing what you can do, and there's no excuse for not knowing your opponent these days.
You bet. Hey, one last thing, and when I was talking to some of the players last week, they did seem to have the message that you gave them. Listen, that first game doesn't mean anything. This is a brand new season and a brand new game, so I think that focus is there, right?
Well, we hope so. Yeah. You like to. You hope your players are listening to you. Sometimes you question that, but as a staff, we've tried to make it very crystal clear that game means nothing, and this is an entirely new game. And we don't know what the field conditions are going to be. Obviously, last Friday they were playing against Batesville in a very wet field, so the field's probably going to be torn up, and we don't know what the weather's going to be like on Friday night. So you factor in all those kind of things, along with first and foremost practice preparation and getting ready for the game.
All right, good luck this week, Coach.
Thank you very much. Go Red Devils.
All right, we'll have the game for you again. Kickoff at 7, pregame beginning at 6:30 right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.